My name is Esther Alinejad, formerly Esther Granada. I grew up on the south side of Chicago in an Italian neighborhood. My father's family was from Italy and my mother was from Budapest, Hungary. As a young child, I created a lot of artwork and was surrounded by artwork. My grandfather collected artwork, and I had several artists in my family. My Aunt Irene and my Aunt Dolores, for example. As a young child, I drew and painted a lot, and also we, as a family, belonged to the Art Institute of Chicago. So during the weekends, we would go down and look at artwork at the museums. I started in high school drawing and painting and took photography. And in high school, I ended up winning a state award for one of my drawings. And then moving forward, I continued artwork and went to a community college in the beginning of the 1980s. I started studying ceramics because my sister studied ceramics and it looked fun. Once I got my hands in clay, I never stopped. And I ended up I worked in the ceramics department and the community college making clay for the department. And I studied ceramics there, creating sculptures. And my teachers as well encouraged me to continue on to get my bachelor's degree. So I believe it was like in 1989 I applied to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and I was accepted, and I studied at the School of the Art Institute, getting my bachelor's in fine art degree, as well as my teaching certificate to teach art in K through 12, and also working with kids and young adults on with special needs. And your mom said that was okay. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I enjoyed studying at the Art Institute. It was very inspirational. I was able to visit the museum anytime I wanted during the day. I could leave my studio space and go into the museum and look at paintings, drawings, sculptures, lithographs, just any type of art imaginable, African art, Asian art, Persian art. It was just like a wealth of information being able to go in there. So my sculptures in undergraduate school first started being inspired by the Jomon pottery of Japan, which is the oldest form of ceramics in Japan. They were large ceramic vessels that were cone-like shaped. So I started making just using that shape as an inspirational basis for my sculpture work, and that ended up, I made like 4-foot pieces, 5-foot pieces, just using that form. And then my work started evolving more towards, my ceramic work started evolving towards more of environmental content, where like how man is kind of always destroying the environment for their own benefit. So one of my large installations, ceramic sculptures, was 4 logs that I actually went down and cut at one of my professors' homes. She lived in Indiana, and so I went and got 4 trees that she wanted cut down, and I stripped them of their bark, and I enclosed the bark in wire netting. So that was like a makeshift log. And then I also made ceramic logs that had thorns in them, and the thorns were healthy. And then as you moved down the row, because it was like a row of trees trunks.
Put them in here, and then you have to look at it as it's going to be washing it, right? You're going to wash that, right? It's like I don't know why. But
Oh, wow. It turned out nice. Look at that. 2 thumbs up. So that was my ceramic work during undergraduate school. I also started painting a lot in undergraduate school and using a lot of mixed media with my work, like collaging found objects, newspaper images that I would cut out, things that I found relevant at the time, I would include into my paintings. So after, then I stayed at the Art Institute and graduated with my bachelor's degree in 1992. And I ended up taking a year off to decide if I wanted to go to graduate school. In that meantime, I worked at a record store because I love music. Then I decided, yes, I would apply to graduate school. I wanted to go somewhere warm because I grew up in Chicago and it was always cold. So I applied to the University of Arizona in Tucson and I got accepted. Started there in 1993. I got an assistantship where I taught undergraduate students ceramics, and I also continued my sculpture work and my ceramic work. And my work in graduate school also continued with, my ceramics are based on a lot of kind of the passage of time, how time goes by. So I included a lot of other materials with my ceramic work, such as rusted metal, incorporating wiring. So I would wire pieces together, which also is, you can see that in my undergraduate level ceramics as well. So my ceramics started to develop, and again, using all natural finishes on my ceramics, nothing colorful. I always like the rawness of clay and the natural oxides that you can use with clay to highlight the texture versus using anything colorful. And that's just my aesthetic with ceramics. A lot of my work is based on nature and how you see decay in nature and how you see like things dissolve. So in graduate school, I made a plaster form that I would put slabs of clay in, and I started taking the big slabs out, and I dug trenches outside of our graduate school office and put the slabs in there and then documented them dissolving during the monsoon season. So after graduate school, I graduated in 1996 with honors, and I ended up working full-time for Tucson Parks and Recreation. I was a technical advisor, I think they called me. So I created all their glazes, fired all their kilns, and I did that full-time for about a year and a half. And then I decided I wanted to move. In 1997, I moved to Kauai, and I ran a pottery studio called Clay Works at Kilohana. And I ran that studio for about almost 3 years. In 1999, I met my partner slash husband right now, Esther Alinejad. We were both artists, and we were both on the Kauai Arts Council. We both ended up having to arrange a party for the president of the Arts Council, and that's how we first met. So we started dating, and then we moved in together, and we fell in love, and so we left Kauai in 1999, and we got married in my mother's backyard in Phoenix, Arizona.
Esther is a name I know for 24 years, and I know her as an artist. Painting, sculpture, pottery, all of them in a similar direction. Is one of the sample of the pottery. If you look at the sample bowl, it show you is the design is so different, and you enjoy to look at it. For the painting, her painting is personally I think is so high. Most of the time, her emotion, just the emotion color. And in that work of Esther, found the object, religion, political stuff you can see sometimes. On this sculpture you got to see and you have to judge. It's so beautiful. For me, I don't sold none of them because I want to keep them all. And the pottery, we can make new one every day, and that's the part of it. And I love that. And I enjoyed with her 24 years as artist, and she's a wonderful person. My life has been wonderful till now.
After living there for a while, we both talked about leaving, and we didn't know really where to go. I had an aunt, Dolores, who is an artist, and she lived in Thousand Oaks, California, and she said, why don't you come out to Thousand Oaks, California? So we ended up coming to Thousand Oaks, California because it was close to the ocean, sunny, weather was nice, etc. And she was saying, well, there's no pottery studio here, so you can open a studio here. In 2004, we bought a house, and the land was large enough we could build a studio in the backyard. We built our studio, and we've been teaching in our studio now since 2004, so that's 19 years, I think. So we teach pottery classes all week long, and I teach private painting classes. We also both are artists, and we both create our artwork. I still paint and create ceramic sculptures, and we are selling our work still. We exhibit our work a lot.
Hello, Dawson Widner, and I've been a student for Esther since 2021. And I started right after the pandemic. I wanted to have some type of community and be able to kind of just be able to get out there and learn a new skill. And she's been very kind to me and a great time for me in terms of learning how to make cups and vases. I've even made a couple of teapots, which are very hard. But she's a very good teacher, and I really value my time with her. You can see it with her work and how she does all of her pieces, that she has a whole amazing way of glazing. So I'm really appreciative of being a student of hers. She's a great person.
Thank you for all the experience that you've given us and for showing us how to do everything. And it's an honor to be one of your students, and I truly appreciate it.
I met Esther about 9 months ago. It was December of last year, 22, and I had this emptiness inside of me. I needed something more, a creative outlet. So I went online and I found her. And I called her. She said, "Come on over." Same day, I did. I met her and I felt like I've known her my entire life. And I've learned so much.
I did Turkish Amber. It was almost that honey.
Hi, my name is Linda French, and I am new to throwing clay, and it has been so much fun. I've been in class 1 month. I wanted to actually learn to throw. And Esther is so good at making sure that you understand technique. And they're just real artists here, and it's a beautiful space of creative people. Everyone is lovely. I'm super excited every week to come. And I've already signed up for 2 more months. That's how amazing it is. So that's my story.
So we've been running Clay Studio now in Thousand Oaks for 23 years, and in 2018 there was a borderline shooting where 12 individuals in the community were shot and killed, which the Borderline Grill is like less than a mile away from here. Right after that happened, Ali went to see, they had like a little memorial outside of the Borderline, and so he ended up putting several of his sculptures over there. And then he had this idea to create 12 of the names in totem form of the individuals that passed.
Well, in the hours and days after the tragedy, there were, so many people all trying to find a way that perhaps they could help, a way to bring kindness into a dark time. And for one local artist, the way was to celebrate those lives lost in the best way he knew how.
Sculptor Ali Alinejad says this is the best way he knows.
As an artist, we are emotional. We learned the technique, and now we put the emotion with the technique together, and the piece is coming along. Luckily, my wife, she was 100% with me, just supporting this project.
His wife is currently running the family pottery business herself. She says that it can be a bit much at times, but she's also honored to support her husband's artistic healing process.
He had this vision and he created it, and he really succeeded. And the feeling comes through the artwork.
He hopes his work will stand as a lasting memory to the lives that were lost.
A year or so afterwards, we created a nonprofit organization called Art Through Action. And with our nonprofit organization, we're trying to find a semi-permanent home for those sculptures, as well as I am teaching kids and adults with special needs. 2022, we received our first California State Arts Council grant, and to teach kids and young adults on the spectrum, and so also to serve the underserved in the community.